Today's Toy Spot, we are continuing our looks at the Marvel Legends series Venom Wave as we have a look at the Ultimate Spider-Man, Peter Parker. Peter Parker, as you would expect, comes with his fair share of accessories. He comes with two pairs of interchangeable hands, a Peter Parker unmasked head, and the arm of Venom. Side of the package features artwork of not only Peter Parker, but on the other end, the Ultimate Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Back of the package, Miles Morales and Peter Parker presently featured on the back. It appears that they might have perhaps a same body mold used and a swap of paint. With amazing agility and wall-crawling skills, these young web slingers take down the bad guys. Down below, Peter Parker, Miles Morales are featured as the Ultimate Spider-Man. Then you have the evil adversaries Electro, you have the web-slinging heroines of Silk and Spider-Girl, and you have Hobgoblin, which I am really looking forward to getting this guy opened up and out of packaging. He was the hardest to find of this entire wave. I don't know, maybe about what you guys have been able to find these guys easy enough or whatnot, but Hobgoblin was a hard figure to find. To check out more from the folks over at Hasbro, www.hasbro.com/Spider-Man. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up. When we come back, though, we're going to get a better look at Ultimate Spider-Man Peter Parker. There's more anyway, guys. Don't go anywhere. Before we have a look at the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, let's have a look at the component piece that we need for Venom. That is one of the two arms in total. We'll go ahead and take the arm, plug it into the socket, thumbsies go in, bingo bango, you've got yourself one arm of Venom. Just need this arm, this one right here, and the head, and then we're good to go. We're good to go. Good to go. Put that to the side. Spider-Man is a breath of fresh air. Now, you would think to yourself, oh, Spot, I mean, how many Spider-Man figures can we get in these Marvel Legends waves? They churn these out. You know, either you get a lot of him, or you get a lot of Iron Man, or you get yourself a lot of Captain America. You know, you've seen one Spider-Man, you've seen them all. Well, maybe you haven't seen this one, as this Spider-Man is notably smaller than other Spider-Man Marvel Legends figures that we've gotten. His proportions and just the differencing between him and some of the other releases, or at least other Spider-Man releases, again, make this guy a breath of fresh air. Let's do some comparisons here from maybe a figure that we already had a look at in this line. Look how small Spider-Man is versus that of Spider-Girl. This is an ideal figure if you want yourself a Spider-Man, but you kind of want yourself a smaller Spider-Man. You don't want yourself the Spider-Man who's like an adult Spider-Man who's the same as all the other heroes. If you want like a smaller, pint-sized version of the web crawler, this one is perfect. Let's have a look at his head. Almost sounded like I was giving away a car. Let's give away a car. The head sculpt is good. I got like something on the eye area here. It's just somewhat unnoticeable, but now that I'm seeing it, it's all I can see sort of thing. I don't really have any issues with the eyes. I like that the eyes are large as opposed to a smaller Spider-Man eye, if you want to call it an eye. Webbing also very clean. The classic Spider-Man emblem on the back, a smaller emblem on the front. I suppose as a nitpick, the chestal, I said chestal area of Spider-Man, is a different color of red than the arms. If you look at the sleeves of the arm, they come across much more tomato red, where this comes across here as a more flatter, darker red. Proportionately, I think he works perfectly. If we look at like the side torso, this is what I'm talking about. Like if we compare this figure to like an Electro, you know what, let's reach off camera. I can't just name drop it and not bring it in. Look at Electro, once again, how his legs stick out further than his pelvic area. Then you look at Spider-Man, everything lines up nice and good. Yeah, he looks a little flat, but at least I would take flat over big, bulging thighs that stick out further than, again, his mid or lower torso area. Defaulted out of packaging, he's got one web shooting hand, but if you so wish, you can certainly change it out with 4 extra hands that he comes included with. So he's got one closed fist on the one web shooting hand on the other, but then he's got a pair that, well, to complete the pair, he's got a secondary web hand that can go on this side. He's got a couple of opened hands, and he's got another closed fist that can match this closed fist here. Taking the hands, swapping them out. I won't lie to you, usually I don't display Spider-Man with web shooting hands. I think unless you plan on having Spider-Man in that pose, I think a lot of times it looks silly, just to be honest. Now, if that's a different circumstance altogether, if I have him hanging down by web, then you know what, then I would go ahead and, I can't for the life of me take this out here. There we go. Pop the hand out. Yeah, a lot of times I don't display Spider-Man with the closed hands or with the web shooting hands. Usually a lot of times I'll display him with like an open hand. Of course, if you find the proper hand, there we go, thumbsies. Thumbsies go in. I guess one thing I would say is, you probably saw it when I was changing out the hands. I struggled a bit. I want to show you what I'm talking about here. Look how long that peg is. A longer peg certainly means it's a much more secure peg, but it involves a lot more tugging and pulling to get that out of the socket. It's not so much a case of worrying that I'm going to break it, but it's more so the worry of, wow, it's taking me a long time to get this hand out of the socket. Just move those to the side. One of the other things that he does come with too is a Ultimate Spider-Man Peter Parker head. Kind of got that surfer hairstyle going on there. We can go ahead and pop the head out, which is a lot easier, I might add, than popping the hands out. And you get a head sculpt that looks like that. Very happy-go-lucky, smiling Peter Parker. I like this head sculpt. It's from a standpoint of collecting tons and tons of Spider-Man and getting tons and tons of Spider-Man in releases, it's a breath of fresh air once again to get a Peter that looks a little bit different than some of the other Peter Parkers in the past. And I think this head sculpt is one of the better ones if you want a younger Peter. It's not likely going to be how I'm going to display it. I'm going to still display it with the mask on, but I like that they would have included this. Let's go ahead and pop that back off, change the head once again back to its original state. The only other thing I could say as a nitpick to the figure is from a manufacturing standpoint. If I separate the arms, I don't separate the arms, but if I spread the arms out, I wish that they could have painted, this would have probably scraped and shaved itself off if this was painted, but I wish at least the pegs could have been painted blue as opposed to a stark red. Being because it's not part of his suit that would be a red, it's very glaring when you have the interior of the arms with big noticeable red plugs. So that's one small gripe. When it comes to Spider-Man's posability, his head is on a ball joint, but you've also got that secondary hinge. I love that secondary hinge. Hinged shoulders, both sides, full rotation on the arms, rotation on the bicep, bend at the elbow, rotation on the hand, bend at the wrists. It's basically everything Marvel Legends, just smaller. He has a crunch in the torso, a waist swivel, ball joint legs, top thigh swivel cut, double hinge knee, a swivel right where the, I guess if you want to say the red part of the boot starts, swivels there, and you've also got a hinge in the foot and an ankle pivot as well. His feet also come across a lot less duck-billed, which is one problem I had when they constantly use that one body mold that they also used for Electro. You get that very noticeable, I call it duck-billed foot, where it just looks like a big duck bill. I think of they always say in motivational posters, if you have so many of this, be the other thing. Be the other thing. If everybody is, I don't know, eating sandwiches, you be the guy that's eating a fruit. That's probably a stupid. Well, that's a stupid comparison. But always be the one person that's not like not the norm. I think what I'm trying to get at is with all the Spider-Man that we got with Marvel Legend releases that look after a while to be so similar to each other that it just becomes a big blur of Spider-Man figures. When you get a figure like this that defies that breaks the mold, so to speak, gives us something a little bit different, a little bit smaller, you gotta give it some props. I think the Ultimate Spider-Man, we haven't looked at Miles Morales yet, but the Ultimate Spider-Man, Peter Parker at least, could be one of my favorite Spider-Man from the Marvel Legends releases, period. Just because it's smaller, it's different, it's not what we normally get with Peter Parker, is all the more reason why I like this figure so much. Today's Toy Spot, we were continuing our looks at the Marvel Venom wave from Marvel Legends. We're looking today at Ultimate Spider-Man. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's got the review of Miles Morales right around the corner. Then we've got Hobgoblin. Then we've got Venom. So there's lots more coming your way. As always, thanks for watching as you always do. I'll see you next time.